Okay, so good day, nurses. Now let's discuss the cataract. So when we say cataract, there's a lens opacity or cloudiness. What does it mean? So yung ating lens daw sa ating mata, nagkakaroon daw ng cloudiness or paglabo. Okay, nagkakaroon siya ng paglabo. And what are the possible causes ba't nagkakaroon ng paglabo sa ating lens? So first, we have the aging. Okay? So first, because of aging. Second one, after aging, because of injury. Third one, pwede din because of endocrine disorders. And the lastly, it is inherited or familial disease or nasa genes. Okay, it's inherited. Namamana siya. So these are the possible causes kung bakit nagkakaroon daw ng paglabo or opacity doon sa lens ng ating mga mata. So for us to understand deeply the mechanism ng disease ng ating cataract or how does the lens nagkakaroon ng cloudiness or opacity, let's discuss first the simple anatomical structure ng ating lens. So first one, this is our eye. Okay, so kung mapapansin natin, this is the lens. Itong clear dyan, yan yung lens natin. So when we say lens, first one, our lens is transparent. Okay? Pag sinabi natin transparent, ibig sabihin very clear siya. So, bakit kailangan maging transparent ang ating lens? Para sa ganon, yung ating, yung light ay dare-diretso lang. Okay? So, parang ganito kasi yan. Yung light, for us to see images, objects, and colors, that kailangan yung light ay matransfer from your cornea to the retina. So, kailangan yung ating, yung ilaw, for example, this is the light, kailangan mag-transfer or kailangan matransmit yan from your cornea to the retina. Because the retina, that is the extension of our brain. The retina is siya yung isa sa mga parts ng ating mata na nagbibigay or nagtra-transfer ng signal sa mata papunta sa utak para tayo ay makakita. So ngayon, kung hindi clear itong retina natin, ang tendency magkakaroon ng scattering of lights. So instead na direct sana yung light papunta sa ating retina, nag-i-scatter yan. That's why nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na blurring of vision. Dahil yung ating light is nag-i-scatter na dapat sana direct lang yan tumatama sa ating retina. Aside from that, our lens is composed of 65% water and 35% protein. So, again, 65% water and 35% protein. When we say protein, itong protein itong 35% na protein, usually yung protein na makikita natin sa ating lens ay tinatawag natin na crystallines. Okay, crystallines. So, the 35% is made up of protein, which means yung protein na yun ay tinatawag nating crystallines. Why does crystallines is important doon sa composition ng ating lens? First one, your crystallines maintain the transparency. Okay? Maintain transparency. So it means kaya transparent ang ating lens nang dahil dito kay crystalline. Kasi nga, it maintains the transparency of our lens. Aside from that, our crystallines also refractive or maintains the refractive properties. Okay? Para magkaroon ng refraction ng light. Kaya kailangan ang ating crystalline, okay, ang ating lens ay may crystalline para sa ganun na maintain ang transparency and to maintain the refractive properties. Second one, pag sinabi nating lens, it is avascular. It means there's no blood vessel. Okay, wala kang makikitang blood vessel dyan. So ngayon, sir, question, sir, paano ngayon? Paano ngayon nakakakuha ng supply ng nutrients and oxygen supply ang ating lens? Ngayon, saan siya kumukuha? Sir, avascular siya. Walang blood vessel. Ang ating lens ay nagre-rely ng nutrients sa ating aqueous humor. Okay, remember yung ating discussion sa anatomy before na we have two types of fluid in the eyes. Yung first natin on the anterior part, we have your aqueous humor. Doon sa may posterior part, likod ng ating mata, your vitreous humor. So ngayon, si aqueous humor, doon nagre-rely ng nutrients ang ating lens. Okay? Next, aside from that, hindi lang pala, what we call this one, hindi lang pala nutrients ang nakukuha ni lens kay aqueous humor. Doon niya din tinatapon yung mga waste product. Remember, ng ating aqueous humor, dapat na maintain yung production and elimination. Pag may na-produce na aqueous humor, dapat may nade-drain din na aqueous humor. Doon sa nade-drain na aqueous humor, doon sumasama yung mga waste product doon sa ating lens. Kaya, nadi-decrease yung mga toxic substances sa ating mata because of the aqueous humor. Next one, rich in antioxidant. Okay, pag sinabi natin antioxidant, usually ito yung makikita natin the glutathione and vitamin C. So sa ating mata, may mga antioxidant dyan. Okay, your glutathione and vitamin C. So bakit kailangan ng antioxidant? Your antioxidant protects lens against oxidative stress. Okay? Again, pag sinabi natin antioxidant, kailangan si antioxidant because your antioxidant, the one who protects our lens from oxidative stress. So pag sinabi natin oxidative stress, these are what they call this one. Pag oxidative stress kasi, from the word oxidation, so ang nangyayari dyan, nagkakaroon, okay? Sila yung mga substances na sumisira sa ating mga protein, specifically your crystalline. Okay, ulitin ko that your antioxidant, okay, protects our lens against oxidative stress. Pag sinabi natin oxidative stress, your oxidative stress, siya yung sumisira sa ating mga protein, specifically your crystalline. Na kapag nasira si crystalline, hindi ma-maintain yung transparency. Therefore, magkakaroon ng claudication dahil nga sira na si protein. Kaya kailangan yung ating mata rich in antioxidant. And aside from that, your protein, okay, si protein din, kaya ang ating mata ay merong protein because your protein, siya yung piniprevent niya, okay? Aside from maintaining transparency, aside from refractive properties, also our protein, specifically your crystalline, prevent scattering of light. Okay? Gaya ng sabi ko sa inyo kanina na dapat ang ating light ay dire-diretso lang yan papunta sa ating retina. Hindi dapat siya nag-scatter dahil pag nag-scatter, that can lead to blurring of vision. Kaya nga, may protein ang ating lens kasi nga, piniprevent niya yung scattering ng lights natin. That is the simple anatomy and physiology ng ating lens. Again, when we say lens, it is transparent. 65% water and 35% protein. And what specific protein? Your crystalline. Crystalline maintain transparency, refractive properties, and to prevent scattering of light. Avascular, saan siya kumukuha ng nutrients and nag-eliminate ng mga toxic substances sa aqueous humor. And then next, it is rich in antioxidant, specifically your glutathione and vitamin C. Para saan si antioxidant? Protect against oxidative stress. It protects the lens against oxidative stress. Therefore, paano si oxidative stress? Siya yung dahilan kung bakit nasisira ang ating protein. Okay? So that's the simple anatomy and physiology of our eye. Sabi natin kanina, we have different causes kung bakit nagkakaroon ng cataract. Aging, injury, endocrine disorder, and inherited. Puntahan muna natin si aging. Okay? So when we say aging, aging constantly, so pag sinabi natin aging, ito yung mga matatanda na. So usually pag matanda ka na, di ba, nare-remember natin yung wear and tear theory natin. Pag laging nagagamit yung isang part ng ating katawan, later on, masisira din yan. So ngayon, kapag matanda na tayo, we are constantly exposed to oxidative stress. Okay? So, oxidative stress from free radicals. Again, ulitin ko, when we say aging, we are constantly exposed. Okay? Exposed to oxidative constantly. Don't forget the word constantly exposed to oxidative stress. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga matatanda daw, grabe na yung exposure nila sa oxidative stress. Gaya nga ng sabi natin kanina, ano si oxidative stress? Siya yung dahilan kung bakit nasisira yung protein. And what are the factors kung bakit nagkakaroon ng oxidative stress? Una, exposed to oxidative stress produce from free radicals. Exposed to oxidative stress first because of the free radicals produced by metabolism. Okay? Nagkakaroon daw ng oxidative stress dahil yung pinoproduce ng free radicals ng ating metabolism. Second one, we have your UV radiation. And the third one, we have your environmental toxins. Okay, so these are the three reasons kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng oxidative stress in our body. Una, metabolism. Okay, yung mga byproduct ng metabolisms natin. Pangalawa, the UV radiation exposure, sunlight exposure. Okay, third one, it's environmental toxin. It's environmental factors. Ito na yung mga kinakain natin, yung mga exposures natin sa mga chemicals. So these are the possible reason kung bakit nagkakaroon tayo ng exposure or nagkakaroon ng oxidative stress in our body. So kung mas matanda ka, mas grabe yung exposure mo sa oxidative stress compared sa mga mas bata. Kaya nga at risk kapag ikaw ay matanda na. Okay? Kapag mas matanda ka na, mas at risk ka na makapag-develop ng cataract. Ngayon, aging, nagkaroon ng constantly exposed to oxidative stress. Ngayon, yung oxidative stress na yan, it decreases the antioxidant. Ngayon, pag tumanda na tayo, dahil wear and tear theory, nag-decrease yung antioxidant. Sabi natin kanina that your antioxidant protect us from oxidative stress. So, kung tumanda ka na, ang problema natin, nag-decrease yung antioxidant mo in the body. Kaya nga 'di ba, yung mga matatanda ngayon, binibigyan sila ng supplement yung may mga antioxidant. Makikita mo yung mga matatanda na mga celebrities mahilig mag-inject ng glutathione. Bakit? Kasi nga decrease na yung kanilang antioxidant in their body. So ngayon pag nag-decrease, nagkakaroon ng protein oxidation. Sabi natin kanina, pag protein oxidation, damage of protein or protein damage. Again, pag sinabi natin oxidation, this is protein or damage. Okay, nasisira ngayon si protein. Pag nasira yung protein natin, that can lead to denaturation of crystalline. Ibig sabihin ng denaturation, nagkakaroon daw ng damage doon sa may structure. Kaya ang tendency, dahil nagkaroon ng denaturation sa structure ng ating crystalline, mabilis na lang yan masira. Kaya nga, nung nagkaroon ng denaturation, that can lead to protein aggregation. Nasira yung structure ng ating crystalline, kaya ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ng aggregation. Paano si protein aggregation? Yung mga nasira daw na protein, magbabinds. Okay? Magbabind sila together. Ibig sabihin, instead na, for example, ito yung ating lens, may mga 35% na protein. Dahil nagkaroon ng decreased antioxidant, nasira ang ating crystalline, nagkaroon ng denaturation or nasira yung kanilang structure. Ngayon, ang mangyayari dyan, magkakaroon ng aggregation. Itong mga nasira na protein natin or na crystalline ay magsasama-sama. Magsasama-sama sila. Okay, magsasama-sama sila yan. Pag once na nagsama-sama sila yan, titigas na ngayon yung protein natin that can lead to opacity formation. Yun na yung tatawagin natin ngayon na cataract. Again, let's repeat. Aging. Pag aging, decrease ang antioxidant. Kapag nag-decrease ang antioxidant, wala na tayong protection against oxidative stress. Pag once na sinabi natin oxidative stress, na-produce ng metabolism, UV radiation exposure, and environmental toxins. Lahat ng yan, hindi na natin mapoprotect because of decreased antioxidant. Ngayon, dahil decrease ang antioxidant po, nagkaroon na ng oxidation ng protein. Nasira na si protein dahil wala tayong protection. Nung nasira si protein natin, nagkaroon ng damage sa may structure ng ating crystallines. At nung nasira ngayon yung structure ng ating crystallines, sila ngayon ay nagsama-sama. Nag-bind sila together, kaya ngayon nanigas sila, that can lead to lens opacity or cloudiness. That can lead to your disorder na cataract. That is aging. Next naman natin, we have your endocrine disorder. When we say endocrine disorder, first we have your diabetes mellitus. Pag sinabi nating diabetes mellitus, ito yung nagkakaroon ng abnormal increased blood sugar in our body. May have your type 1 and your type 2 DM. Bakit ba at risk? Bakit ba risk factor ang endocrine disorder? Bakit ba tayo nagkakaroon ng cataract formation kapag may DM tayo? So, palikan natin. Okay? So, first, we have your diabetes mellitus. When we say diabetes mellitus, first one natin, we have your sorbitol build-up. Okay? Your sorbitol build-ups. Ano ba si sorbitol? Your sorbitol, yan, for example, si sorbitol na-produce yan if may excess blood sugar in our body. So, bakit siya na-produce? Your lens converts excess sugar into sorbitol. Okay? So kapag once na mataas yung blood sugar natin, ang tendency, tumataas din daw yung sugar content sa may ating lens. Ang problema natin na yung excess sugar na yun na ko-convert siya into sorbitol. Sir, bakit problema si sorbitol? When we say sorbitol, okay, your sorbitol cannot easily exit the lens. Ibig sabihin, nahihirapan daw ang lens natin or mahirap i-eliminate si sorbitol once na na-produce na siya. So ngayon, anong gagawin ni sorbitol? Okay? Ngayon, your sorbitol attracts water. Okay? Your sorbitol okay. So, ulitin ko. Sorbitol attracts water. Pag once na yung water na yan, okay, kapag once na nag-attract siya ng tubig, causing the lens to swell and cloudy. Ulitin ko, your sorbitol, nag-a-attracts daw yan ng tubig. Ang mangyayari, remember, dapat 65% lang ang water sa ating lens. But ang problema, because of sorbitol build-up, nung humigop siya, or nag-attract siya ng tubig. Kaya ngayon, namamaga si lens. At kapag namaga si lens, maglilid yan sa cloudiness formation. Okay? Maglilid yan sa cloudiness formation. Aside from that, we have your ito. Next, pag-increase yung sugar, okay, pag nag-increase yung sugar in our body, your sugar or your glucose attached to the lens. Okay? To the lens protein. It means na yung ating protein, dapat single lang siya. Ang nangyayari, dumidikit daw yung sugar sa ating protein. Pag once na dumikit yung sugar sa ating protein, it become stiff and dysfunctional. Ibig sabihin, maninigas daw yung ating protein. And second one, dysfunctional na siya. It means, hindi na siya magfa-function. Hindi niya na magagawa yung function niya to maintain transparency, refractive properties, and prevent scattering of lights. Kaya pag nagkaroon ng the protein becomes stiff and dysfunctional, magkakaroon ulit tayo ng aggregation. It means magsasama-sama ulit yung mga protein that can lead to black light and cloudy vision, which is yan na si cataract. So yan si diabetes mellitus. First natin because of your sorbitol build-up. Pag may sorbitol, si sorbitol, nahihirapan yan. Paano siya na-produce? Yung excess sugar, si Lenz, kino-convert niya si sugar into sorbitol. But ang problema, si sorbitol natin, hindi natin yan na-excrete agad-agad. Nahihirapan si Lenz natin. Kapag once na may sorbitol, your sorbitol attracts water. So it means na ang mangyayari doon sa ating lens ay madadami or dadami yung tubig sa kanya that can lead to swelling and cloudiness. Second one, increased sugar. Yung excessive sugar natin, okay, yung increased sugar na yan or yung excess glucose, maa-attach yan sa lens natin or sa lens protein, specifically your crystalline. Pag na-attach yung sugar sa may crystalline, magkakaroon ng dysfunctional ng protein and it become stiff, maninigas sila. So, pag nanigas sila and dysfunctional na sila, magkakaroon ng aggregation or magsasama-sama or tumpukan yung mga protein natin that can lead to blocking of light. Kaya pag na-block si light, mag-i-scatter yung ilaw that can lead to cloudy formation, which is siya na si cataract. Second one natin, hypothyroidism. Again, pag hypothyroidism, remember si thyroid hormones natin responsible sa metabolism. So kapag impair, pag may hypothyroidism, decrease din ang metabolism. So pag nag-decrease ang metabolism, impair lens metabolism as well. So hindi lang pala sa katawan, pati sa lens natin, nagdi-decrease yung metabolism. So pag nag-decrease yung metabolism, that can lead to decreased sodium and potassium. Dapat ma-maintain kasi yung electrolytes natin sa ating mata, okay? Para ma-prevent natin or para ma-maintain natin yung homeostasis na tinatawag. Dahil kapag once na nagkaroon ng imbalance, that's the time na magkakaroon na ng hindi maganda yung environmental or yung properties ng ating lens that can lead to abnormal formation. Okay? So again, balik tayo, hypothy, decrease ang metabolism sa lens, nag-decrease ang sodium and potassium, nagkaroon ng electrolyte imbalance. This electrolyte imbalance can lead to oxidative stress formation. Okay? Gaya ng sabi natin kanina, pag may oxidative stress, siya yung sisira sa ating protein. Kaya nagkaroon ng oxidative stress, nagkaroon ng protein aggregation. Okay, nagkaroon ng pagsira ng protein, nagtumpukan na naman sila, kaya na-block yung light, nagkaroon ng cloudiness or ng cataract. Next natin, we have your hyperparathyroidism. This one naman is all about calcium. So, nagkaroon ng increased calcium, yung calcium deposition in the lens. Okay, di ba? Sabi natin, pag hyperparathyroidism, nag-i-increase, nagkakaroon ng hypercalcemia. Ngayon, yung dahil mataas ang calcium sa body or sa dugo, yung iba napupunta sa mata. Okay, napupunta sa mata. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon ng calcium deposition sa ating lens, nagkakaroon ng disruption ng epithelial cell. It means nasisira yung mga epithelial cells sa ating mata. That's why nagkakaroon ng reducing their ability to maintain clarity. Hindi nagagawa ng mga epithelial cells yung function sa ating mata. Kaya hindi nila ma-maintain yung clarity that can lead to blurring of vision, or yung tatawagin na nating cataract. Okay? So, yan yung mga disorders natin in regards to your endocrine. DM, hypothyroidism, and hyperparathyroidism. Next natin, we have your injury. Okay? Pag sinabi naman nating injury, ito yung mga types natin ng injury. You have your blunt trauma, your penetrating, your chemical burns, and your radiation. Pag sinabi natin blunt trauma, these are example natin yung may mga force. Punching or punch, sinuntok ka. Or pwede ding sports na tamaan ka ng bola. Okay, your blunt trauma, that can lead to, magkakaroon ng shockwave formation kasi yung force na yan will disrupt the lens fiber and capsule integrity. Masisira ngayon yung ating lens fiber and the capsule because of the force na tumama sa iyong mata. So ngayon, pag once nang nagkaroon ng pagsira sa ating lens, that can lead to rosette-shaped cataract. Paano si rosette-shaped cataract natin? Wait lang, check ko kung may picture ako. Parang star yun eh. Pakita ko na lang. Parang star siya. Ito, parang star yun. Ganyan. Ayan. Ganyan yung magiging cataract kapag once na blunt trauma yan. Okay, dahil nasira nga yung ating lens fibers and the capsule ng lens natin because of the force. Second one, we have your penetrating. Pag sinabi nating penetrating, usually ito yung mga sharp object, tinusok ka, tinaga ka sa mata. Natusok ka ng ballpen, tinusok ka ng ballpen. Sinaksak ka sa mata, sinaksak ka ng knife, pwedeng screwdriver, yan yung mga examples natin. Okay? Basta sharp object. Okay? Direct disruption of lens fibers and capsule rupture. It means nagkaroon ng direct na sira doon sa ating lens and nagkaroon ng pag-rupture ng ating lens kasi nga natusok siya. Pag once na nagkaroon ng penetrating, ngayon pag after niyang masira, that can lead to rapid cataract formation. Bakit? Due to the leakage of aqueous humor. Remember, nagdi-decrease na yung protein, nagdi-decrease na din yung water, kaya wala nang magma-maintain ng transparency and ng refractive properties. Okay? Next natin, we have your chemical burns. Pag sinabi natin chemical burns, usually, nagkakaroon ng ito yung pwedeng inhalation, for example, or yung steam, di ba? For example, nasusunog, yung steam or yung usok napunta sa iyong mata. That's chemical burn example. Okay, example lang yan. So ngayon, itong chemical burns that can lead to pH imbalances. Okay, pag nagkaroon ng pH imbalances, nagkakaroon tayo ng protein denaturation. Diba? Yung gaya naman sabi natin kanina doon sa hypothyroidism, nagkaroon ng imbalances sa may ating, what do you call this one? Sa ating electrolyte. Okay? So ngayon, dito naman nagkaroon ng problema sa pH. Hindi natin na-maintain si homeostasis. Kaya nagkaroon ng pH imbalance. Pag nagkaroon ng pH imbalance, that can lead to protein denaturation. Ibig sabihin, masisira yung protein natin, the structure. Pag nasira ang protein, that can lead to blurring of vision. Wala na magmamantin ng transparency. That is cataract. Next, radiation. Ito yung UV natin, X-rays, okay, pwedeng radiations, exposure to radiation. Okay, ngayon, nagkakaroon ng free radicals formation. Diba? Pag may free radicals, magkakaroon ng oxidative stress. Pag nagkaroon ng oxidative stress, magkakaroon ng pagsira sa protein that can lead to protein aggregation. Magkukumpulan si protein. Pag nagkumpulan sila, ibablock niya yung light, can lead to blurring of vision. Tatawagin na naman natin yan na cataract. Okay? So, next natin we have your inherited. Ibig sabihin na sa genes ninyo na mamana siya. So, wala na tayong problema dun kasi nasa genes yan. So, these are the causes kung bakit nagkakaroon ng tinatawag natin na cataract formation. Because of aging, endocrine disorder, your DF, hypotide, and hyperparatide. Your injury, you have your blunt trauma, your penetrating, your chemical burns, and the radiation. And lastly, we have your inherited or genetics. So next natin, these are the signs and symptoms. Okay, the signs and symptoms, gradual, painless, blurring, or loss of vision. Bakit sinasabing painless? Remember dun sa ating anatomical structure, avascular sila. Ibig sabihin, wala silang blood vessels. Kaya nga, wala silang pain receptors. Okay, walang pain receptors dun. Kaya kahit magkaroon ng damage dun sa ating lens, walang pain na mararamdaman. Bakit? Kasi nga, walang pain receptors. Next, it is gradual. Okay, so gradual siya. So pag sinabi natin cataract, ano to? Unilateral or bilateral? Okay, usually si cataract natin, it is a bilateral disorder. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng both eyes ay magkakaroon ng cataract formation. Hindi ibig sabihin kapag nagkaroon yung isa, hindi na magkakaroon yung isa. So may possibility na yung dalawa ay magkaroon ng cataract, gradual nga lang. Kung nauna yung isa, baka after how many years, pag hindi mo na-eliminate yung mga risk factors, can lead to cataract formation. Next, your photophobia. Bakit nagkakaroon ng photophobia? Remember, nagkakaroon ng protein aggregation, kaya nabablock ngayon or nagkakaroon ng protein aggregation, di ba? Yung pagsama-sama ng mga nasirang protein that can lead to scattering of light. Scattering of light. Okay. Kaya kapag nagkaroon ng scattering of light, magkakaroon ng it creates a glare, vision, and discomfort. Kaya ka may photophobia. Parang masakit sa mata because of this. Next, opaque or cloudy white pupil. Okay, opaque. Opaque or cloudy white pupil because of the aggregations of protein na hindi na maintain si transparency dahil nasira si ating tinatawag na crystallines. Decrease din ang visual acuity, diba? Magdi-decrease yung visual acuity mo. Imbes na 20/20 ka, nangyayari, hindi mo na makita in 20 feet. Okay? Hindi mo na siya makita. Kailangan yung 100 feet na dapat nakikita mo na lang siya into 20 feet. Yung dapat kaya mo siyang makita into 200, nakikita mo na lang in 20 feet. Okay, decrease visual acuity. And then, progressive nearsightedness. Bakit nagkakaroon progressive nearsightedness? Nagkakaroon kasi ng lens thickens or yung lens natin nagkakaroon thickens, okay? Thickens of lens and hardens. Kumakapal yung lens and tumitigas yung lens natin. Kaya nagkakaroon ng progressive nearsightedness. Usually, distance vision becomes blurry. Okay? Yung distant vision, pag sinabi natin progressive nearsightedness, yan yung nagkakaroon doon ng distant vision becomes blurry. Ibig sabihin, yung malapit na object na blurred yan. Na dapat sana, na yung nakikita mong malapit na object, dapat clear. Yung background niya ang blurred. Pero kapag cataract, yung malapit na object, blurred ang nakikita mo. Yung background niya ay clear. That is progressive nearsightedness. Okay, so for diagnostic test, we have your slit lamp exam. Okay, your slit lamp exam and your ophthalmoscopic examination. Pag sinabi nating slit lamp exam, usually gumagamit tayo dito ng pupil dilators. Okay? Kailangan nating ipadilate yung pupil natin for your slit lamp examination. Ang gagawin niya lang dito is to examine the structure of the front eye, including the cortina, iris, and your lens. Ito siya, oh. Yan. That is your slit lamp examination. To visualize the front eye, the cornea, iris, and lens. Gumagamit tayo ng pupil dilator. Okay? To dilate the pupil. Kasi kapag constricted si pupil, hindi mo makikita, hindi mo ma-visualize ng mabuti si cornea, iris, and lens. Kaya kailangan mo siyang paluwagin for better visualization. Next natin, we have your ophthalmoscopic eye examination. Okay? So, ophthalmoscopic, raging right. Yan. Okay, kung i-visualize mo si right, kailangan nakalagay yung the ophthalmoscope sa right eye mo. Then, dapat right eye din yung may hawak. Ayan o, kung makikita mo, right eye ni patient, right eye ni physician, right hand ang may hawak sa ophthalmos. Okay, sa ophthalmoscope. Okay, so yan yung ating ophthalmoscopic eye examination. Ano naman ito? Ophthalmoscopic, to view the fundus. Okay, what is the fundus? Yung retina. Back of the eye naman. Kung kanina, ito, front. Ito, back. Okay, it's back of the eye. Okay, so yan yung ating tinatawag na diagnostic test for cataract. So next, we have your pharmacological treatments. Sa ating pharmacological, meron tayong mydriatics, your sarcoplegic, and your acetazolamide and mannitol. So first, we have your mydriatics. Pag sinabi nating mydriatics, these are your pupil dilators. Ito yung binibigay natin before examination. So take note lang take note lang, my dear student, na dapat when we say pharmacological treatment, hindi ito to treat cataract. This is only given prior to diagnostic procedure. Hindi siya to maintenance. Hindi ito ibibigay para magkaroon ng clear vision yung patient. Binibigay ito para or before ng diagnostic procedure for better visualization. Okay, mydriatics pupil dilator. Okay, so what is the example of your pupil dilator? You have your epinephrine, adrenaline, and then your phenylephrine, hydrochloride. Okay, these are the example of your mydriatics. Kung mapapansin nyo, these are sympathetic drugs. Okay, these are their sympathetic drugs. It means it increases your heart rate. It increases your blood pressure. So, dapat cautious tayo when giving mydriatics. Okay, so paano natin ibibigay si mydriatics sa mata? Okay, so to prevent yung tinatawag natin na systemic effect, okay, to prevent your systemic effect, ibig sabihin, para hindi siya pumunta sa iyong katawan or sa iyong blood, kailangan natin gawin yung isang procedure or isang technique on how to administer your Midriatrix. Paano? So ngayon, pag once kasi na pumunta yan, na-absorb yan ng bloodstream mo, magkakaroon tayo ng systemic effect. I-increase yung blood pressure mo, mag-i-increase yung heart rate mo. Pwede naman natin maiwasan yan. Paano? Pag mag-a-administer ka ng Midriatrix, dapat yung canthus mo, di ba? Remember, meron tayong inner canthus and your outer canthus. Di ba sabi natin may butas dito? Kailangan i-press mo ang iyong inner canthus. When administering Midriatrix, dapat i-press mo tong inner canthus para yung ating medication ay mag-stay lang sa labas ng mata mo. Hindi siya papasok sa loob ng katawan mo at ma-prevent natin yung systemic effect. Hindi mag-i-increase yung blood pressure mo, hindi din mag-i-increase yung heart rate mo. Okay? Next natin, we have your cycloplegic. Pag sinabi natin cycloplegic, these are pupil dilators and paralysis of ciliary body. Okay. So, dalawang action ni cycloplegics nyo. Pupil dilator and at the same time to paralyze the ciliary body. Bakit kailangan ma-paralyze si ciliary body? Diba your ciliary body produces aqueous humor? So, kailangan munang ma-paralyze yung ating ciliary body para hindi na siya mag-produce ng aqueous humor. Kasi kung mas maraming aqueous humor, mas lalo lang hindi makikita yung ating lens. That's why, kailangan mo i-paralyze para sa ganon, hindi mo na siya mag-produce para mas maganda yung ating visualization. Sorry. Okay, so ano example natin dito? We have your atropine sulfate, your scopolamine, your hydrobromide, and your cyclopentolate. Your cyclopentolate. Okay. Atropine sulfate, scopolamine, hydrobromide, and your cyclopentolate. Your cyclopentolate. Okay, may N yan. Atropine, scopolamine, hydrobromide, and your cyclopentolate. Okay, these are your example of your cycloplegics. Next natin, we have your acetazolamide and your mannitol. Okay, when giving your acetazolamide and your mannitol, bakit siya binibigay kapag once na may cataract? Para sa ganon, mag-decrease, okay? Mag-decrease yung elimination, or sorry, para ma-facilitate yung pag-eliminate ng ating aqueous humor. Kaya nang sabi ko kanina, pag mas konti, mas maganda yung visualization. That's why we are administering acetazolamide and your mannitol. So, next we have your surgical management. Sa surgical management natin, we have 4. Okay? Ano yung 4 natin? We have your intracapsular cataract extraction, extracapsular cataract extraction, your phacoemulsification, and your intraocular lens implant. Okay? So, first, we have your intracapsular cataract extraction. So, pag sinabi nating intracapsular cataract extraction, usually, ano ginagawa dito? Si intracapsular, bihira na ginagawa to ngayon. Okay, dati, ito yung ginagawa sa mga patient natin na may cataract, pero ngayon hindi na. So, paano to si intracapsular cataract extraction? Sa intracapsular natin, okay, the entire lens and surroundings capsule are removed. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang yung lens mo ang tinatanggal, pati na sa paligid niya. So, masyadong invasive tong procedure na ito kasi malaking hiwa. Okay, nagkakat sila ng eye dun sa may mata mo. Okay, so masyadong malaki yung, for example, ito yung mata mo. Okay, ito si eyelids. Masyadong malaki yung cut nila dito sa eyelids mo. Okay, sa mata mo I should say. Masyadong malaki yung kanilang cut sa mata, kaya hindi na siya ganong ginagawa. Meron ngayon yung parang maliliit lang na needle, tapos na. Which is sa phacoemulsification yun. For your extracapsular, okay, dito pala sa intracapsular, di ba, sa gaya ng sabi ko kanina, pati surrounding capsule sa may lens mo, tinatanggal. So, pag hiwa nila dyan, ang ginagawa, naglalagay sila hiwa sila ng malaki, tatanggalin nila yung lens, and then maglalagay sila ng intraocular lens. Okay, maglalagay sila ng IOL. Kasi nga, wala ka ng lens. Kaya maglalagay sila ng, yung tinatawag natin na, anong tawag na ba dun? Yung hindi totoo na lens. Okay, the synthetic lens. Okay, yun yung lalagay nila. Magkakaroon ng implant ngayon ng bagong lens mo. Next natin yung extracapsular cataract extraction. Ano naman ginagawa dito? Okay, large incision pa rin siya. Pero ang tinatanggal na lang dito yung lens. Hindi na sinasama yung surrounding capsule. Okay, hindi na siya kasama. So, same lang, maghihiwa ng malaki, pero lens na ang tatanggalin. And then, papalitan ng IOL or your intraocular lens implant. Okay, next natin your phacoemulsification. Ito na yung karaniwang ginagawa. Bakit? Small incision na lang siya. Okay, small incision, then, may ipapasok sila, ito siya, oh. Ito yung sa di ba? Laki ng hiwa sa mata. Tinanggal yung lens, naglagay ng intraocular lens. Paglagay, and then cover. Ganito din sa phaco. Sa phaco natin, small incision lang. Pinasok lang yung needle, then pinasok yung phacoemulsification instrument. After nyan, i-remove yung lens, and then, papalitan ng bago. Panoorin nyo tong video para mas maintindihan nyo. Ito kung paano ginagawa si phacoemulsification.
During cataract surgery, your ophthalmologist will make a small opening in the side of your cornea. He or she will insert a pen-shaped instrument through the opening to reach the lens. This instrument uses a special type of energy to break up the center of the cloudy lens. Then it will carefully suction out the lens pieces. Your surgeon will then insert an artificial lens called an intraocular lens, or IOL. This IOL will stay in your eye permanently. The new lens lets light pass through and focus properly on the retina, bringing back clear vision.
Okay, so ganun ginagawa yung ating phacoemulsification. Yan ang ginagawa natin ngayon. Usually, lahat ng mga eye surgeon yan na pag-cataract. Okay? So, your intraocular lens implant. Okay. So, intraocular lens implant, yun yung sinasabi ko, yun yung nilalagay natin. Okay? Then, lens replacement. Okay? So, sa lens replacement natin, these are, first, your aphakic eyeglasses. Ito si aphakic eyeglasses natin. Okay, sobrang kapal niyan. Sobrang kapal ni aphakic. Bakit kaya tinawag na aphakic eyeglasses? Dahil, pag sinabi nating saan nakuha si aphakic? Aphakia, okay, aphakia ang tawag sa mga taong walang lens. Okay, walang lens. Dahil wala na silang lens, ang ginawa niya, nagbigay sila ng lens niya. Your synthetic. Kaya aphakic eyeglasses ang tawag. Okay? Next, your contact lenses. Meron tayong example. Your hard lens. Okay, your hard lens. Sorry. Hard lens. Soft lens. And your gas permeable lens. Okay, so kung mapapansin nyo, ito si gas permeable natin. Okay, yan si soft lens natin. So anong pinagkaiba ng ating okay, ng ating hard lens, ng soft lens, and your gas permeable? Pag sinabi natin hard lens, usually they are rigid plastic. So, but ang problema natin sa hard lens natin, not foldable. Okay, so ang disadvantage niya, large incision during surgery. Advantage niya naman, durable and stable in the eye. Okay, your hard lens, durable, pangmatagalan siya, and stable in the eye. And then, less prone to dislocation. Okay, less prone to dislocation. Okay, next disadvantage, gaya na sabi ko kanina, larger incision, longer healing din. Okay, longer healing din, and risk for astigmatism. Okay, risk for astigmatism. Next, your soft lens. Usually, pag soft lens, made up of silicone. Okay, silicone. It is foldable naman siya. Kung kanina sa hard lens, hindi foldable, ito foldable. And then, small incision only. Anong advantage niya? In small incision, and then pwede siya, dahil foldable siya, pwede siyang i-inject into the eye, and then, most commonly used in modern cataract surgery. Ngayon, yun na yung ginagamit. Disadvantage natin, expensive. Okay, expensive siya compared sa hard lens. And then, some materials may be less ideal for patient with certain eye condition. Okay? An example natin dito, your diabetic retinopathy. Okay? Kapag may ganun, hindi siya pwedeng ibigay si silicone. Hindi pwede si soft lens. Dapat hard lens siya. Okay? Next, your gas permeable. Okay? Pag once na gas permeable, not used as intraocular lens, hindi siya ginagamit pag cataract. Okay? This is usually contact lens lang siya sa surface ng eye. Okay? So, minsan, ginagamit siya implantation for implants, pero or kapag may mga complication. Pero ngayon, hindi na talaga siya ginagamit. So, durable din naman siya. Ang disadvantage siya lang, requires daily care. Okay? Hindi siya ini-implant sa ating mata kasi nga, nasa surface lang siya. Okay? So, yan yung pinagkaiba ng ating mga lenses. Next, we have your nursing consideration or nursing management. Pre-op, assess vision on an affected eye. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, it is a bilateral condition. So, pwede din kasi affected yung isang mata. So, kung once na nag-assess ka, or 'di ba? Kasi kapag once na cataract yan, tinatakpan yung mata. Okay? Tinatakpan natin after ng surgery. That's why, aside mo yung vision ng unaffected side, baka kasi blurred na rin. So, hindi na makakita ang pasyente mo dahil nga nakatakip yung isa. Kapag once na after surgery yan. And then, administer pre-meds, yung ating your Midriatrix, your Cycloplegics, and your Mannitol. And then, instruct post-op measure to prevent changes in IOP. Okay, ano yung mga instruct natin kay patient para ma-prevent yung increased intraocular pressure? Huwag mag-cough, huwag mag-sneeze, huwag mag-lift ng heavy object, and then huwag din mag-bend ng knee. Okay? Huwag mag-bend. Okay, kailangan pag mag-bend ka, pag may pupulutin kang object or something sa baba mo na nahulog, kailangan yung knee mo ang i-bend mo. Huwag yung waist. Okay? To prevent the increased intraocular pressure. Post-op, semi-fallers position. And then, prevent increased IOP by by preventing those activities that increases IOP. And then keep a patch or protective shield on an affected side. Okay? Keep a patch or protective shield on an affected side. Bakit? To prevent infection, di ba? Para hindi din. And then, protection na din. And protection against infection or protection against objects. Kamalay mo mamaya, merong natamaan, pwedeng matamaan siya, ganyan, accidentally na may mabato sa'yo, tumama dyan, kaya kailangan magbigay ng patch. Okay? So, these are your nursing consideration. Okay? So, we're done with your with your cataract.